shore that up a little bit, execute a little bit better, and maybe things will be okay as we're here into the picks and the bans. Jbetto, any interesting things you see out of the bans so far?
The Vayne ban's a little surprising to me. Been a thing that ZDZ has been picking up. I think that the EDG bans in general are a bit, you know, Jace and Vayne getting banned away. Then the Poppy, which is normally a cover ban for something else, but they're not hovering anything that Poppy would be necessarily super good into. Gonna be the Syndra locked in here for EDG. A really strong flex. She's in an amazing position right now. Good in mid, good in bot lane. Let's see what EDG can do with this flex.
Yeah, you say it's a flex, and it is, but is it a flex for EDG? That is always the question that you have to ask yourself when you have Leave on the bottom lane, because these mages just have not really been working for EDG. So maybe they'll stick with what they're good at. Maybe they will just try to play the meta here. We're going to see a Shen immediately get locked in on the other side here. That's going to go over to Kael almost assuredly, and when a guy like that is on a not only a powerful champion, but a champion that can just appear anywhere in the blink of an eye, it looks like you're looking at 2025 Kael again, because this man was so good last year. A little quiet to start 2026, but the meta kind of stays this way. Certainly be in good shape.
Yep. I'm surprised that the meta has evolved to Shen being first picked. I always feel like Shen was a good pick into the Camille, into the Bard, but now it's just getting game one here by AL. The Gnar is a really smart pick with the things like Jace and Vayne ban. That's kind of a problem with EDG ending up banning away those things. The Jarvan Blind is an interesting one, but the Tristana, I mean, this could be a flex as well. It's likely that it goes to Leave, but I could definitely see it going to the top lane.
This is going top. This is the pick into Gnar. This is absolutely going up to the top lane, Jbetto.
All right. These are the two picks
that the lane counter. I love it.
Tarzan has been playing a lot. The Nefiri and the Lee Sin is in a solo queue. Most of these. Who did I say? Oh, it was Kael. It was playing Nefiri support on his solo queue. So who knows? Maybe in some universe, but I don't think so. A lot of damage coming out of both team comps right now. Maybe.
River Shen Nefiri support? Okay. What redeemable qualities does Nefiri support have? Like, why are we picking Nefiri?
I think it's really good
support?
into mages. I think that's the idea. From what I was looking at, she just kind of wins the bot matchup if it's a mage, which it still could be, but I like the Tristana here into the engage. Obviously, there is a lot to engage, but Tristana can jump away. She has the Buster Shot to keep herself safe. Then you have Scatter the Weak as well. This backline is really safe from the dive that AL have. Jarvan is really fluid in the way that you can approach fights. Mid lane bans coming out here from EDG and support and an ADC ban from AL. I think for EDG, you want something that's going to allow you to do both styles, like your draft already can. The ability to go in, the ability to peel. Maybe a Rakan could look really nice in this draft here. It would be a bit tough into the Shen, so I could see something like a Nautilus instead. For AL, are you going to just pick an assassin in the mid lane? Go something like the Sylas, go something like the Lock, potentially, although I think it would be pretty tough into the Syndra. Ezreal, the consideration for now.
Yeah, just going to be safe into a lot of unknown picks. One of these other champions that can kind of stand on their own. One of the few remaining 80 carries that can do that. Just a perfect pick for Hope as a guy who, as mentioned, the 2v2 has been a struggle, but you can leave him alone, and if he's able to go even or minimize any losses, it's generally a win for anyone's legend. Now, the ball is in EDG's court with what they're going to pick to round out their composition. I like the initial start. You've got some good pick potential with that Syndra, with that Jarvan. You can also, team fight pretty well. We're going to see the Rise lock in here. That's going to go over to Bulldog. It's something that he has favored quite a bit. And then that Rel, which has also been a Parukia favorite, for a little bit of extra team fighting power.
I would expect something with range. You have the Anivia, obviously the Cass is banned, but the TF hover is an option into the Rise. You don't necessarily win the lane against Rise, obviously, but it has that global pressure, has that stun, and it can really work well with the Nefiri and with the Ezreal. Now, this means that this is Syndra bot which you had some concerns about whether Leave is going to be able to play this to the level that we want him to. ZDZ on the Tristana, like you called out as well, and now Rise in the bot lane. There's a lot of damage, but it's up to the individual. Can these players actually pilot these picks well enough to get leads in lane and then to snowball that into good team fighting? Because AL have a much more standard draft. They have a lot more CC as well, and it's going to be a lot easier if they ever get the ball rolling for Nefiri to take over the game, for Na to take over the side lane, for this TF to impact the map. I think EDG, they're feeling confident by picking this draft, but it is a tough one.
Yeah, I think the biggest difference in these drafts is that there's a lot more early power on the side of anyone's legend, right? Like Ezreal's, skirmishing early can be pretty strong. You obviously have the Nefiri combined with the TF. That's plenty of damage. And of course, the Gnar early on can do quite a lot. EDG on the other side, you've got the Rise scaling. Remember that Syndra's more of a scaling champion now as opposed to what she was before. You're really hanging your hat on this Tristana. So if you're EDG, you need to make sure that you're not only playing for ZDZ, but also protecting him with proper vision and good timers to show up for counter ganks, because if ZDZ gets behind, the rest of the game is going to fall apart. He is the big player to watch for the side of EDG, Jbetto.
Yep. And to jump onto the Rift for our first game, Yanni. I'm interested to see how this top lane goes, like you were saying.
Listen, you could already see that move from Parukia early for
Very nice.
the extra vision. Just making sure that
happening? Is he starting top?
This is bold. This is actually insane.
Like, I get that the lane is really hard, like the matchup is hard, but he is completely sacrificing his AD carry and the lane swap passive that I know isn't really the thing anymore, but it still is enough to the point where it's going to hurt. ZDZ puts the exhaust down.
Yeah, in his 400th game, he's being treated with Kael opening things up in the laning phase up on the top side and taking the full recall. I mean, this is a genius move by AL, really. Sure, it's going to be a little bit tough to get to level 3. It's going to take a little bit more time for Kael to roam around, but it's almost like you're using your first roam earlier in the game.
Sure, and you do get the exhaust out, so that feels good, but the lane is not any easier for the Gnar, as we can see, and he's down like a significant amount of XP, which is really negatively impacting Breathe in this lane. He will take over to level 2 here, but I'm kind of questioning what Kael was even looking for there. I get that Hope is going to be completely fine on Ezreal in this matchup, like he should be able to just chill there, and I also understand that the lane is like quite hard in top. But he kind of just walks, gets a summon a spell, and then leaves. Like, maybe that is what he was looking for, just get the exhaust off early, but the lane does not look any easier.
Well, this is a particularly brutal matchup, right? And with the ward getting used early from the side of ZDZ, this does mean that Tarzan can finish these camps up there and immediately show up top. And now you'll only have to worry about ZDZ's flash. Now, the good news for EDG is that Xiaohao is currently on his red buff, so he'll likely show up top and start a recall before actually going back to base. We're seeing some fighting down on the bottom side. His leave is down below half HP. Kael trying to get closer, flashes forward. Still holding this taunt, just waiting for it to come up at this point. Will land that taunt and will be able to finish off leave for first blood going over to Hope.
Yeah, not a great start for EDG's bot lane, and this is exactly what you didn't want to happen as Tarzan finds Xiaohao.
And Bulldog getting held up right now by the TF. Meanwhile, fighting up on that top side. ZDZ getting stunned up down to about half HP. Has to hop out of there, but it's still continuing to take a lot of damage. And I think Breathe wants all of this one.
Oh, wow.
Forces the flash at his ZDZ. The flash blinds Wallop gets the job done.
That is insane. As ZDZ falls down there, you can see in the player cam, he's really not happy with how that went, and he shouldn't be. This is a matchup that we saw how tough it was, and Breathe with his first Mega is able to get a solo kill while ZDZ has flash. They both use them. We'll take a look back quickly here at the bot lane play. As Leave is just caught by a tower shot, too much damage. The exhaust is nice, and then, like you said before, the taunt being held the entire time means that eventually Leave just can't do anything. The Scout of the Week has already been used, and the lane is so much longer than he might want it to be here. Let's see how this goes. It's a full health solo kill. Breathe goes Mega, just jumps straight on ZDZ and hits everything. That's crazy.
Yeah, ZDZ decided to hold his jump because this is typically favorable to Tristana, but Jbetto, this is a consequence of not having that exhaust from that level 1 play that was made. We're going to have some fighting on the bottom side as Leave is in big trouble. Kael is as well, but it's just going to be a kill over to Parukia, who's forced to flash away and is going to go to the waiting arms of Tarzan despite the stun, so it's a double kill for him. Xiaohao now here in the 2v1. He's going to flash forward under Tarzan, gets a little bit of healing, and now Xiaohao has nowhere to go except back to the base, and Hope's got his second kill of the game. It's all AL 5 minutes in.
Yeah, this feels very bad for EDG. It feels like Tarzan's lining up to have a Nefiri pop-off game, something that he's very experienced in, and Hope is doing a really good job as well. Breathe, again.
All right, misses the stun onto ZDZ, who is also now level 6. There's that Gnar ultimate coming out.
Wow.
I was a little surprised that ZDZ didn't try to buster shot Breathe closer to Parukia. He will hold that exhaust.
Breathe with the steel caps as well, making this lane so much harder for ZDZ to deal with. So let's take a look back at this.
You know,
Crash down from Parukia is a little ambitious. Leaves just too low. Junglers are here. Tarzan goes in, and yeah, the Shen dies to Arel. But Tarzan just takes over this fight, and it's kind of tragic that Xiaohao just can't quite get this kill. The heal from the Q is awesome. And then Hope just layers in, but back in top.
I think ZDZ getting taken lower is going to be forced to hop away with the taunt going on to Parukia. But Jbetto, I'm very surprised that EDG decided that they wanted that 3v3. As I mentioned during the replay, they saw Tarzan clearing that ward. Obviously, Xiaohao was there, and they knew it. We have to talk about what's happening down here is the first port from the TF doesn't quite yield a kill, but will force Leave back without a teleport.
Yep. We'll lose this big wave too. Leave is struggling in this lane. The game is being ran by Tarzan right now. And this is about the time that Kael is going to start to link up with him. He thought he was scary before. He has so much CC to work with. He's got the stun card, and then he's got the Shen taunt, plus the shield as well from the Shen ult when that comes through. Tarzan is a full level up against Xiaohao as well. Has that ult available. Both of them have the upgraded Scuttle Crab, and Xiaohao has now ticked over to level 6, but like I said, Tarzan ticked over to level 7. AL are positioning around again, but looks like they're happy to just keep the farm going for now.
One of the best junglers in the game in Tarzan, and when he gets a lead like this, it can very quickly turn into a chasm, up nearly 1,000 gold at this point. EDG will be able to secure the first dragon for themselves, so that is at least something that you can build upon. Now, the problem is the Hound's Pursuit is on top of Parukia here, and everybody is around to take him out. It is a third kill for Tarzan. Let's reset on the Hound's Pursuit. There'll be nothing more beyond that. This does mean that the Gromp is going to go over to Tarzan, and Xiaohao, well, he is on the Jarvan, and he can survive without some jungle camps. This early when you're losing them, it's never a good sign.
So the question is now, what do you do about Tarzan? He's got first item completed. He's 1,500 gold up. Like I said before, he has so much CC for setup to help him. He's got Kael, who's going to hold his hand the rest of the game. He's got Shanks, who can Destiny to him at any point when that ult comes off cooldown, and also has the stun card. He's got a top lane that's doing just fine and pushing in most of the time. And if somehow you manage to deal with all that, well, Hope has a 900 gold lead as well. EDG are really struggling to find any kind of win condition here in the beginning of this game.
And ZDZ is getting in trouble too. Parukia has to move over to make sure there's no dive happening. It's just going to be the grubs going over to AL. Not quite sure how much value they're going to get out of that in the early goings, as CDZ is generally kept breathe away from the turret. But you know, Jbetto, it's going to be very hard for EDG to really do anything to move AL. I think they are at the point in the game where they need to just sit and scale, all right? Let AL have these objectives. You took that first dragon, so you're going to at least make sure that the soul would be slower for AL if they sweep the rest of the dragons. You've got the scaling on all three of these champions really in your lanes. Just try to get there.
Yeah, the concern is, will Tarzan let you get there? Because I have a feeling we're going to start to see some dives pretty soon. Syndra is a very vulnerable champion, or can be compared to something like a Ryze, who is pretty tanky. Tristana is a dive target too, but with exhaust and with the jump, I wouldn't imagine so. So I think that Leave is going to become the target very, very quickly, especially when he rotates into the mid lane. Nice taunt.
All right, there's Bulldog forced to flash away, taken down very low here. Ezreal coming through, not doing a whole lot. Xiaohao going to flag and drag his way out. Stunned up, and Parukia once in. Leave going to land a stun onto Shanks, but he's got that catalyst, which means he is rather tanky. So EDG defend the attempted assassination on Bulldog's life.
Yeah, you see what I'm talking about with the fact that Ryze is pretty hard for Tarzan to kill with a play like that. So EDG end up doing pretty well, but now Leaves in the mid lane. No flash on Bulldog, which makes him a lot easier to kill. But if that was to happen to Leave, he would just die. He's so squishy on this Syndra, and I don't think that EDG can stop Tarzan from just running him over the next time his ult comes back up. There is this little middle ground here now where these ults aren't available, but if all AL need to do is, you know, get a flash here or there, they're slowly going to get priority over the entire map. Now they're in top, helping breathe clear out this wave. EDG can't really walk anywhere without finding this hot dog.
Tarzan holding complete dominion over this map. 11 minutes into the game. This is just what happens when you get so far ahead. But something that Tarzan is really so excellent at. Next dragon going to be up in about a minute. You know that AL is going to want to go and get that first dragon in their ledger. Just a matter of what EDG wants to do. Like I said, I think you just have to employ the sit and scale strategy, hang out, farm up, do what you can as these champions, because you can get there, right? You can get to your late game Syndra once you have all of your splinters and you get that increased AP and you pick up a couple of items. You can get to your 3-item Rise, which is one of the highest spikes on a champion in League of Legends. It's just a matter of making sure that you can defend AL's proactive plays.
Kael trying to sweep out some of the vision that EDG have in the bot side. There is a lot of that, by the way. Trying to protect this Syndra as she is the weakest member on the map right now. And Tarzan has 3 kills, but Hope also has 1,500 gold. Anywhere Tarzan goes, the camp is his. Hope is becoming really, really strong. It won't be too long before he's even completed a Mana Moon. Shanks finds the sun, but Tarzan will use his W and then just run away.
Yep, there's a good defense there by EDG. It's exactly what we said they needed. His Hope is certainly adding to the damage department after hitting 4 people with that True Shot Barrage. A couple of members of EDG up on the top side. There's that Destiny getting used. I don't know if do AL want to actually pull the trigger on it, just for a little bit of vision for the moment.
From AL.
Hope is just getting whatever he wants down here.
Well, that part is good, but the dragon is just completely free. They use Destiny to check vision topside, and Tarzan is using all this time, about 45 seconds, to get his Grump. He's 1.6k up. Just do the dragon. I don't particularly understand why he needs to get that specific camp on cooldown, because his wolves aren't up either, so he's going to have to leave his topside or just sit there for another 30 seconds and wait. He does get the Grump and will now cycle his camps down. I would like to see a dragon. I think there's no chance in hell that EDG ever step up to this objective. And Tarzan will start it up just now, so a little later, but we'll do it.
Saw Hope get that first turret a couple moments ago, and you saw on the bottom of the screen the win rate of anyone's legend when they pick up first turret, and looks like they're trending toward keeping that at 100% for the moment. The second dragon is going to go down just exactly at the 14-minute mark. It's a 4.3 thousand gold lead for anyone's legend, but the good news for EDG is that the game has calmed down a bit, so while the gold lead has gotten further out of reach, your lane states are still about the same state they were before. It hasn't gotten any worse for your scaling triumvirate.
Potion Soul this game, not the most exciting or impactful, to be honest, in this game. There's a lot of burst damage, so it can help, but if AL are going to kill you, they're going to kill you with or without the Ocean Soul being there on their side, at least. It might help EDG if they're able to get it, but down 4,000 gold. That is a tall order to ask of right now. We're going to need some smaller wins before we start to get those big wins. Parukia picked up the Kaels, which is interesting because there's not a ton of CC. Does make sense to try to protect his team from the stun cards, from the taunt flash. It's very similar to a Rel, actually, as I might need to hold my thought here.
Tarzan just lying in wait for a play to be made on Bulldog. Bulldog holding that wave, which means that Tarzan has to use that untarget ability early. Bulldog trying to get back under the turret, does take the gold card and is getting quite low and will be finished off by Tarzan. A clean dive from the side of anyone's legend.
I'm kind of shocked that Shanks held his stun card that long, but I think it was waiting for the flash. Makes sense. And even though Bulldog isn't the easiest to dive, they end up getting it. Kael protecting his AD carry, as a lot of members from EDG are pathing down. Sorry, Breathe, not his AD carry. But it won't pay off as anything. Now, what I was talking about before is that Shen kind of functions in a similar way to Rel, is where you can Q on Rel and bait the flash, and your enemy has to flash or they'll get stunned, so you can often not flash on your side and the enemy will. You can kind of do the same thing on Shen, right? We saw Kael do that a little bit earlier when he flashed in and didn't dash, and it made leave flash. Similar mind games you can play on this champion to get flashes away for free and keep yours available. Kael's been relatively quiet this game. It's been a lot of Tarzan just running around the map and doing his own thing. Even though Kael does have 4 assists, I don't necessarily think that it's been more him than it has been Tarzan. Hope's picked up his second item now. Tarzan the same. 5.5k lead for AL. EDG not feeling good.
And that extra 1,000 gold they just picked up a couple moments ago was just part of that great sequence that AL had, and a really brutal sequence for EDG, because after that dive, AL went and picked up the Rift Herald, so that's in the back pocket of Tarzan, but EDG were slow to respond. They wanted to dive bot lane, but the entire minion wave was gone. Now they're going to attempt to dive this top side here. Multiple members, including a teleport, coming through, and they're just going to pull the trigger on top of Shanks, caught in the Cataclysm. Kael to save the day, and they're going to turn this dive right around. ZDZ on the backside, but here comes Breathe, knocking Xiaohao into the wall. Just an auto attack away from going down, as the rest of EDG has to realm warp their way out. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, we've got the Herald crashing. We've got Tarzan coming from the side, and there is nothing you can do to this hot dog, as Leave will fall. 5-0-1 for Tarzan as AL continue to push the pace.
Yep, Tarzan heralds the mid tower and then jukes out the Scout of the Week, going again.
All right, let's see if Bulldog can handle this.
Okay.
Parukia gonna come in and mean mug Tarzan and force him over the wall.
It's a really smart and quick answer from AL. They send Breathe to TP up and Kael with the ult to protect Shanks. It's not a bad dive at all, but he's also kind of tanky, and there's not a ton of damage with Rise just yet. The Shen shield is really nice. The TP in from Breathe is nice too. And although these flashes are a little awkward, Breathe jumps over and then flashes, misses ZDZ. It still ends up being a 2-for-1, plus Tarzan got the kill.
Oh.
Well, now he's got another kill.
Plus Tarzan got another, yeah. Yeah, that dive is just super rough because you go in without any minions, and then the Cataclysm keeps Parukia in there when Kael lands, so it's just a free double taunt. Kael's able to taunt out of any danger. Scout of the Week is there, but I'm not sure if Tarzan's quite done with Leave. A couple of Darkened Daggers takes him quite low. as the gold lead is ballooned to 8,000. Double wallop with Kael coming through means that EDG have to scatter to the winds.
This is great map play by AL. It's not just the support jungle duo, it's just two-man squads running around the map. Tarzan probably finds this, and this is going to be... Oh, maybe not. Flag and Drag gets him out. Bit of movement speed here from Tarzan. I hope we'll get the kill.
Yep, there's that true shot barrage. It was a bit of a horror movie. Xiaohao tried to hide. Tarzan just knew where he was, and now it's a 10k gold lead pre-20 minutes for anyone's legend. Absolute decimation from the jump. From that initial move that Kael made to tilt the top lane toward AL.
Yeah.
It has been all anyone's legend from here.
Yeah, just trying to keep it honest. I mean, this is what we were talking about a little earlier in the pre-show. This is what's expected. AL to be looking this good when they're contesting the top teams. Tarzan on one of his best champions. And I think EDG are playing a little bit disrespectfully. They're kind of just dying everywhere. But to be honest, what are you even supposed to do about this?
Yeah, the go buttons for AL are just very robust this game. So it is kind of hard for EDG to stick around anywhere. You know, you need to try and make sure that you can survive. This is Shanks taking up this turret, caught in the cataclysm, flashes away, lives, and the taunt onto Xiaohao means that even though that was a good look for EDG, maybe the best look you're gonna get, they still go 0 for 1.
You can see AL couldn't care less about this dragon. There's a pause coming through. I imagine AL will pick up the dragons eventually, but this 11k lead...
Are you sure about that? I don't know if they need to.
Yeah, they might not. I think it's good to just take it away, and stats are stats, but they'll just get the Baron. This game is pretty much over. Hopefully this pause isn't too long. Hopefully it's just a small issue, or maybe someone really needs to go to the bathroom. That would be kind of funny. But yeah, EDG needs some time to think. Maybe sitting here in this is probably not what you want, but they have to.
I don't know. I actually think it is what you want. Acceptance is
silently?
one of the... Well, yeah, acceptance is one of the stages of grief, right? Once you get to acceptance, you've gone through all of the stages of grief. So if this helps them get to acceptance, yes, we are in this scenario. No, there's nothing we can do about it in game 1. They can come in with more of a fresh mindset for game 2. If you can't get to acceptance and you're still struggling with that when you're in game 2 draft or 5 minutes into game 2, you're going to be all out of whack and you're just going to get swiftly 2-0'd. So if I'm EDG, if I'm personally sitting here, I am looking for any excuse to go to a pause, bro. I need a second.
Yeah. Yeah, where's Anguish on the list of stages of grief? I feel like that's where we're at.
We have denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and acceptance.
Acceptance, anguish after when you accept it, but it's still happening to you. Maybe we're at bargaining. Maybe EDG is going to start saying, please stop it.
We need to pause. We need to pause. Why?
So that's where we're at. We're working through the stages. Please, can we pause? There must be something wrong.
We will sign some mouse pads if you let us pause. That's the bargaining.
All right, I see it.
EDG sign mouse pad would be pretty cool.
I don't know, I feel like... Do you play in... Are you a Hardstock Castelo player?
I am, yes. I didn't play the games tonight, luckily, against a lot of the Master Tier teams, because I was busy prepping for this and then sleeping. So I didn't have to deal with whatever the hell they were dealing with.
So imagine you're sitting there with the Castelo teammates, and you're in a LAN situation, and this is happening to you. And your jungler, who is whoever, I don't know who your jungler is getting completely gapped.
That's Rafa, by the way.
Okay, so Rafa, Mark is just getting ran down by Nefiri. And then there's a pause, and you can't say anything, and you just look over at him, and he just shakes his head. Does that make you feel better? I don't know if it does.
Yeah, it makes me feel a little bit better. Because we've acknowledged that things are
Rafa how he feels
things are problematic. And things haven't gone super well, you know. And, in person, you get to also like put on the brave face. But if you're at home, you're muting your microphone, cursing your jungler.
Yep.
No, I've never done that to Rafa. Rafa has been quite a fine jungler to have on the team, and we've worked quite well together. Not quite as well as Kael and Tarzan, but not bad either, as AL have cleaned up Baron here, have nearly a 12,000 gold lead. Jbetto, how big do you think this gold lead's going to get before this game ends?
Definitely not 20k. There's not enough standing goal. I'll say 15k. I don't think this game is lasting longer than this Baron. And I don't think there's more than 5k on the map. So I'll say 15k is my guess. As Shanks TP's back into the mid lane. Parukia, little lost here.
I mean, I like the angle, right? There's always opportunity to try and come in with a surprise engage on the back end, but it's well warded by AL as the siege will continues. EDG getting a 1v1 against Tarzan here, but the heals plus the shield and the teleport that's going to land. It was one auto attack away. As you said, it's just not fair. But the collective AL will save the day. Now the engage is on to Kael, and there is a shutdown going over to Xiaohao. I don't know if this means that EDG are going to be ready to fight anytime soon, as the middle inhibitor has fallen. Currently in a 4v4, AL looking to just end this game as they're working on the first Nexus turret. Bulldog getting closer to about half HP. They just need to wait for a wave to come in.
Yeah, the TP to the dog before and Kael ulting is just keeping Tarzan alive. The base is slowly breaking. You think this is going to let up? No, you've got a minute and a half left of Baron. This is not stopping anytime soon. I think the game will end before Baron is over, like I said before.
EDG has to get back into the fountain to heal up. This does mean that AL's push has finally subsided. I like the look from ZDZ. You're not going to get too many of those. You have to try, but the rapid fire cannon from downtown. Now it's Parukia with the engage on the Magnet Storm, and the turnaround could be there, but there is Tarzan. This hot dog is fully loaded. It's a triple kill for Hope. Bulldog is getting low. They're saving it for Hope.
Give it to him.
It's a quadra kill, and you know that Hope wants this penta, but he gets scattered away. There's the taunt, the shift, penta kill for Hope.
Yep, that's the way to end it. Baron didn't even wear off before AL won the game. EDG tried to move forward. ZDZ is stun carded, and he explodes before the sun even wears off. Shanks had a pentakill before. Now it's Hope's turn. Humongous individual performances from AL. Great teamwork as well. They were just better. There's not a whole lot to say there. They just were so much better.
You know the game is very one-sided when you get a triple kill in the last fight and your jungler is holding the 4th kill for you. Not even the 5th kill. Your jungler has decided, I see your triple. Checks watch. We're not in danger. You can get this one, bud.
Yeah, this one's all you. Pretty impressive stuff from AL. Every lane was winning, or, you know, mid lane wasn't necessarily winning in terms of solo killing, but Shanks just did so much more on the map with these stun cards. Breathe with the solo kill. Hope and Kael popping off in the bot lane, and then of course Tarzan, who I think, even though there was a pentakill, is still my MVP for this game. That was a nuts Neferi performance. Not even necessarily insane macro. He just was at the right place at the right time, got these early kills, and then snowballed it to the point that EDG just had nothing to do.
Yeah, every single time. I look at that bot lane play as a real microcosm of the game. Like, you know he's coming through. Xiaohao was like, hey guys, we can fight the 3v3. The health bars were just a little too low for them to do much of anything. The good news for EDG, if you can call it that, is in the laning phase, mid lane didn't explode.
There is that. Mid lane didn't explode too badly, but Bulldog was the target of a lot of ganks.
It was fine. You know, listen, you're probably not going to get solo killed by TF.
They all did about the same damage.
And if you're getting solo killed by TF, things have gone poorly. But you can take a look at those damage charts, as you said. It is Tarzan and Hope leading the way for AL. We had a lot of questions about the initial Kael roam up to the top side. Looks like it paid off in spades. Yes, Breathe was behind and decent amount of experience early, maybe half a level, but was able to equalize that pretty quickly. And Now ZDZ without that exhaust on that fight near the crab. Just went so poorly. It's where ZDZ died. It's where Xiaohao died. You just knew that, this is an AL game to win.
Yeah, I will say a very quiet game from Shanks on the kills department. He's doing his job. He found the stun cards. He's playing for his superstar jungler who took over the game. And this is kind of the like the catalyst of what led to this being later. Is EDG taking this 3v3 at so low health, where Tarzan just walks in and cleans up 2 kills. The healing here from the Darkened Daggers is really nice. Gets him out. He would have died on any other champion or a champion that doesn't heal. And then this is every time you make a play. There is a Shen ult there. There is somebody, most likely it's Breathe, TPing. Anytime EDG tried to look for something, this is what they found.
Just a whole lot of members of AL and a whole lot of pain. I think my favorite part about the previous clip, the bottom lane play, was that Hope was just farming the wave after Tarzan got the second kill. And then when Xiaohao went back in, Hope was like, I mean, I guess I'll just like help fight. And, all right, I'll just take this kill. Yeah, sure, man. I was interested in the minions. And gets a kill for himself. This is a very AL-dominated highlight reel. This was the horror movie that we talked about a little earlier. Credit to Xiaohao for the attempted sidestep, but unfortunately, J4's lance is a part of him. And he got caught on the lance.
So much damage. This is the start of the pentakill, obviously. Hope having a good game. I've been a critic of Hope. I think that he has a lot of games where he doesn't really do a whole lot. But I will say, credit to him, great game this game, and not that it was necessarily required of him because of how strong Tarzan was, but he does get the pentakill. Did have a really, really good game. I'm okay with it being a player of the game for Hope as well. I think we need to see more of that from Hope. He should be doing that next game as well.
Yeah, you put him in the 1v1. You let Kael do his thing and roam around, and good things have happened. So, see if AL is able to keep up that strategy, not only throughout the rest of the series, but also throughout the rest of the season, as long as it'll be allowed before any patches happen. I'm with you, though, for MVP. I think it's got to be Tarzan. I do wonder how heavily the pentakill is weighed in garbage time. We'll call it what it is. I want to know if the AI is like, he got a pentakill, enough said.
Definitely.
Well, you say definitely, but I'm sure the AI's description will pop up, and you and I likely will be unable to decipher what it says. It is a Tarzan MVP, as expected. Only 68% kill participation, which feels weird to say only.
I mean, the AI and I are good friends, so he wouldn't do us like that and put Hope just for a pentakill, would he? Would it? Guess we'll have to find out.
Jbetto AI?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, apparently, that's what I've been told by Twitch chat at least, so I guess I'm leaning into it.
We're going to need to talk about that in the break. I need to know how or why you are being associated with AI. AI gives it over to the proper choice. We have the winner club voting for bot lane, as well as you can see some caster disagreement there, but no real surprise that Tarzan gets the majority of the player of the game votes. Jbetto.
Yep, and AI got it correct. I knew it. Player of the game Tarzan, something about ganking. That's all I can decipher, but I'm sure correct.
Oh yes, it does say gank. Well, it's one way to get the job done. There is if AI it just drops gank in English in the full Chinese explanation. You know you have done something right. Now, there are a couple of people who have done something right, and they'll get shouted out at the end of the stream. And if you want to be on that potential list of people, you could support the LPL English project by becoming a coffee member, because coffee is the best way to support the LPL English project, because the vast majority of your contributions will go directly into the show. A lot of the initial payments will go into upgrading the broadcast, but a huge bulk of it pays on-air talent and our content creators. Subscribe to our coffee, which will be linked in the chat. You can unlock perks like early access to content and the ability to ask interview questions for our unique on-site interviews. We're going to go ahead and take a short break, and when we return, it'll be the Game 2 draft.